not tweaking, you fucking asshole. I'm helping people, and tons of people are buying my fucking book because for some weird reason, what I'm speaking about in the woods is radiating with people, and they understand, and they feel like I'm talking about their life. 9 times out of 10 when people read my book, they write me afterwards because I always give my number out. I always give my number out to people that buy my book. And I always leave my IG, like my Instagram name, right there in the fucking comments every single time I make a video. So people fucking hit me up on Instagram, and they write to me on Instagram, or I give them, or they comment to me on here, because they ask me, they talk to me about what's going on in their life, and that's why I'm fucking doing these videos, man. I'm not doing it for myself. So it's just like when people write to me here, direct message me on TikTok, and they talk to me about things and what they're going through. They tell me that they're buying my book or they bought my book already. And I'm like, well, here's my fucking WhatsApp number, and hit me up on there if you ever need anything. And I talk to them on WhatsApp. Every morning before I come in this woods to film fucking videos, I'm on the phone on Instagram and WhatsApp, usually WhatsApp more than Instagram. And I'm talking to people that follow me on TikTok about what's going on in their life and the challenges that they're facing, or what they're reading in my book. So and I'm answering messages, audio messaging, for a good hour and a half every morning before I even come to the fucking woods and film these videos. So I'm a huge part of other people's lives. And that's why I make these videos. So when I get comments from people going from an international teacher to tweaking in the woods, it's not tweaking in the woods. It's being there for other people. I've always been that way. That's why when I was in college, I got a master's degree in education. I used to work with the mentally disabled for 3.5 years until I had to become a math and science teacher, before I became a history teacher, before I became an English teacher. And it's when you work with that many teens and when you guide that many college students, when I was a camp counselor for those seven years, I was the head camp counselor at those camps, and I would have to train college kids to learn how to work with teenagers, because the people that ran the camp knew that I was an education major and I was getting a master's degree in education. So they made me train college students know how to treat fucking teenagers, because there's a goddamn way. And in order to make people feel appreciated, loved, and seen and heard, you had to dissolve the self and no longer become obsessed with yourself and become selfless and give yourself away. It's not about you. It's about the we. It's not about the me. It's about the we. And your goal in life should be loving others. And it should be giving yourself to others. And that's not being a people pleaser. Please put your needs above others, for sure. Don't let people take advantage of you. And make sure you're not putting yourself out there at night that much, and learn how to say no. Learn how to say no. I have a lot of people that message me every morning, and most of their problems come from not being able to say no and not being able to stand up for themselves, because they were neglected in childhood. And when you were neglected as a child, one of the main things that happens when you're a child of neglect, emotional neglect or physical neglect, like I was, is you put other people's needs above your own. I had to raise my mother. I had to make my own food. She was never home. She had borderline personality disorder, and she was never there for my needs. And she always wanted me to make her happy, not the other way around. So from the age of 5 onwards, my job and my role in the household was to make my mom happy and to give my mom love and affection, not the other way around. So I was raising my mother, and I was raising myself. My mom never cooked for me. I always cooked for myself. Sometimes I didn't brush my teeth for 10 days. Sometimes I didn't brush my teeth for 20 days because nobody knew or nobody even cared or paid attention to if I was brushing my teeth. Our diet was so poor because we didn't have money at all that sometimes I didn't go to the bathroom for 8 or 9 days straight. And finally, I found alcohol when I was 15 years old, and finally that made me go to the bathroom. And I became obsessed with it because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to the bathroom, this is amazing. Because I couldn't go to the bathroom for like 9, 10 days straight, even at the age of 15. Some of us are raised in really like neglectful homes. And when that happens to you, when you're a child of emotional neglect or neglect in general in childhood, and you have to raise your parents or your mom or dad, or you're not being paid attention to in the home, or your love needs or your attention needs or your attachment needs or your love needs, or any of those needs aren't met, later on in life, you feel like you need to be small and you can't speak up for yourself. And you don't matter, and you're not good enough. So you get into relationships with really shitty people that put you down or abuse you. And I deal with that a lot when I'm on the phone every morning, answering messages from people that have read my book. If you haven't bought that book yet, you should buy it. And I apologize because it is pretty scary. And if it scares you, I apologize. But I wrote it to help stop school shootings. But I wrote it so people wouldn't feel alone. So they could feel when they were reading it, they could feel like they could relate to somebody. And they weren't lonely anymore. And they felt like somebody cared about them. That's why I wrote the book. Anyways, have a great day, guys. Thank you so much.